Mortgage rates continue to rise, but we're also seeing buyers out there buying homes. Who's going to win that tug of war? Welcome everyone to Real Estate Daily. My name is Troy, and every day we go over the latest news in real estate, housing, and the mortgage market. Now, before we jump into anything, let's go hit that subscribe button. Helps me out a lot. Let's get the word out there on what's happening in real estate news Monday through Friday. Let's jump into the very first article here. DS News came out and said, typical home is bought and sold every 12 years. Let me understand this. We've been saying this now for a while. If you're a first-time home buyer, you want to get in a house. It's not your forever home. I have gone and I've shown many homes to first-time home buyers who become extremely picky and then ultimately sit on the sidelines as they see home values go up. And now, obviously, they're seeing rates go up and they end up becoming habitual renters. You look at this and say to yourself, if I got my first home and I was in it for 12 years, guess what my second home is going to be? Yes, your forever home. Look at it in that kind of lenses. Do not look like I've got to buy the forever home, because that's not what the numbers are saying here on DS News. We're going to go over this more. We're going to probably put out a short on it, and I will go over this. I am very interested in seeing what you have to say about it as well. Next article here, it says foreign buyers who nearly disappeared during the pandemic finally return to U.S. housing market. Well, that's what we're seeing. I've been saying this over and over. Cash buyers are out there and they're buying up U.S. properties. I mean, think about it. If I was in China and I had to deal with all the shutdowns and the lockdowns there, I'm done with the country. And especially if they're trying to take my money and they're trying to really reduce how much I own, then I'm moving out of the country and I'm going to go to more of a freer place where not it be better than the United States. And so we're seeing foreign buyers come in. I will say this once, I'll say it 100 times. Right now, when I'm showing homes, all last weekend, every single open house I saw had at least 10 to 15 people roll through it in the hour I was there. There is no shortage of buyers. We have no inventory out there, which I've reported on Monday. With that being said, we are seeing another buyer come into our market, especially here in Southern California and in California in general. Actually, West Coast. It doesn't matter if it's Seattle, Portland, the Bay Area, or right here in Southern California. All right, before we jump into the next article, do me a favor, hit that like button. And if you have a comment, please leave it below. We're seeing a lot happening here, and I know that the media has somewhat of a different opinion on things, but I want to hear it from you and what you guys think. All right, home purchase demand is strong despite weak supply, says United Wholesale Mortgage CEO. So who's United Wholesale Mortgage? They are the second largest broker dealers in the United States. Rocket Mortgage is number one. They're seeing this happen. They're funding a lot of deals. Now, we understand it's all purchase. It's virtually no refis, but those two companies everything's shifting to having brokers come in and going through these type of companies, and they're seeing it explode. It's the banks that are hurting, right? The banks are closing down. The big financial institutions like Loan Depot, they're hurting as well, but Wells Fargo's cutting everything out. Bank of America slowing everything down. They're doing massive layoffs. We're seeing Chase doing the same thing, massive layoffs. There's not enough money there and the risk is too high for the bank. So we're just seeing all these brokers pop up everywhere, and now we're back to that market. It's kind of exciting to me to see it, but they're just saying the demand is there, guys. The demand is there. Do not look at the media, because the media is shoveling a lot of this under the rug, even though CNBC has to say it out loud because this is such a big company. All right. This is also CNBC. Mortgage rates top 7%. So for most of you out there, when you're looking at anything that's a jumbo loan or anything larger over 500,000, your rates are already over 7%. Now there's FHA if you want to jump into that. Now, but you do have things such as mortgage insurance That's what's really pumping that rate from 6.5 up to about 6.8, 6.9. But as I said before, in October and November, when rates were at 7, it was a shock to the system and it slowed the market down. That's when everyone jumped on it and said, oh, collapse, 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 falling apart. But it absolutely now, when rates dropped and then came back up, right now, the buyers are getting used to these rates. They know that there's a refi market somewhere down the future and that if they buy now, they can lock in with their monthly payment. I've heard many people out there say, well, I'm tired of you real estate agents telling us that there's no inventory. Well, guys, there's not enough homes for people. We keep saying this over and over and over. How does the homeless population continue to blow up, yet home prices year over year are going up? Because there's just no homes out there. There's no properties. The government will subsidize geopolitical crap, but they won't subsidize your American dream. I said it once, say it 100 times. That's what they should be doing, but they have no interest in helping out here in the U.S. All right, let's jump to the rates itself. We saw the conforming go up 0.04. That's conventional's gone up. FHA's gone up 0.07. But what's really gone up is the jumbo. And again, jumbo is just like this crazy roller coaster rocket ride. It went up 36 basis points. I think that the lenders are just seeing there's risks in having higher dollar amounts. So having that risk is now not worth it for them. Now, I said it yesterday, and I know you guys are all chuckling out there. Hey, Troy, what did you say yesterday? Finally, jumbo fell below conventional and FHA rates. What did it do today? It went from going below it to going above it. All in one day. How crazy is this? How crazy? Make sure you pick the right lender out there. That's so important because you got to know that the lender is going to make that monthly payment for you regardless, at the very beginning, regardless of what they say or do. You've got to go out there and compare. Comparison shop. Do not go with the person that you think is going to give you the best deal. Comparison shop. I have seen this over and over hundreds of times where I told my clients, compare. Well, no, it's my relative. It's my friend. It's a good friend. You know what? The second that you compare, all of a sudden, if you can get a lower rate, you go back to your relative, friend, whatever, acquaintance, and you tell them you need to match this or I'm moving somewhere else. I'll say a lot of the times they'll match it. And because you picked up the phone and you spent 3 or 4 minutes on the phone, you made an impact on your monthly payment. It's not necessarily going to be because they gave you the best rate. No, it's not. It's because you did your due diligence. And right now, as we went back to that second article, brokers are out there. Brokers have more control over rates than anybody else, right? So if they have more control over rates, United Wholesale, that's what they do. Broker, it's an all broker channel. They can control it. And because that, if they're looking out to make more money for themselves, they'll keep the rates higher. I am telling you this over and over and over. That's why the broker channel really hurt for the last few years because major banks can really lower the prices on their rates. But now the major banks are having all kinds of liquidity problems. Now you're going back to brokers and they will fluctuate the same. If you went to 5 brokers that all went through United Wholesale Mortgage, I guarantee you'll have 5 different quotes. Think about that. Very important. Well, guys, thank you very much for joining me today. If you guys have any questions, again, or comments, please leave it below. Otherwise, you guys take care. It's a Thursday. It's the first day. We feel like it's spring. 3 days of rain. Now the sun's out. The birds are chirping. And it's time for you to get into your dream home.